You're very welcome back. You're watching the Daily Rundown with me, Fiona Fox. Now, Salford Red Devils have apologised for the behaviour of some of their fans after fighting broke out in the stands at the end of Monday's match against the Huddersfield Giants. Salford winger Justin Carney and centre Junior Sow were pictured in heated exchanges with supporters as they tried to make sure that children were safe. Club owner Marwan Kukash has promised to act against the fans involved. Did you see any of the pictures around this? Guys, are you big rugby fans?
Well, you know, New Zealand is the world champions of rugby. We beat Australia in the World Cup. Yeah. So,
very good.
But I did watch the clip today and I saw photos. And at first I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like, is this the players? Like, what's going on? You can't do that if you're a player.
Because they're in there, to be fair. Well, because they're trying to save their kids.
And you saw kids in there, and then you saw, fans in there as well. And it just got messy. I've got a zero tolerance to violence, just anywhere, whether it's on a sports field at home, right here. Just,
Surprising this one though, is it? What's the, what do they call it? The sport of gentlemen rugby is generally referred to. And a very ungentlemanly behaviour there. But it is kind of seen as like the posher sport, isn't it though?
It's one of those posher sports, I guess. But it is, a full contact sport. It is violent in a way. I mean, I'm not really...
On the field?
Yeah, on the field. And so obviously that's spilled off the field, but I'm not really into sport. I don't follow rugby. I don't really follow any sport.
It's the oval ball.
Right, okay, the oval one, right. But so I don't know too much about it. I read the article. It seemed that the players were going into, the crowd because of their children. So they were thinking about their children's safety.
They were worried about the kids, because the
players' kids were there and the fans were coming in around them, which is, fair enough from parents' point of view. Obviously, if you suddenly think your child's in danger, then obviously they're going to shoot over. But
do you think? I think though people kind of expect us a little bit more from the football, don't they? And we're rightly or wrongly, whatever way you want to look at it. Just it's not as often we hear a story that there was rugby fans clashing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So it's a bit strange.
So you expect it with football because there's been so many violent, things that have happened within football. And as a non-sports fan, obviously those are the things that come out in the media that I hear about. So obviously I just think football's just really violent, and and everyone who likes football is a hooligan. But that's just what the media is making me think, because I have that much of an interest in sport.
Well, this one's kind of interesting, I think, because it kind of comes around the same time that there are calls to make rugby in schools tag rugby. Is that why they're tag?
Yes, rather than
full contact. Do you think does it feel like maybe there's a facade dropping or something around rugby again? Do you know that maybe we're going to perceive it differently going forward because of incidents like this at the weekend, and also the various injuries that kids are sustaining in schools?
Well, rugby is an aggressive game. Like, I never played it at school because my friends got hurt and their ears got big, and it was it's an aggressive sport. When you look at football, the guys come off the field, they're broken, they're cut out, and it is an aggressive sport. So if you're going to play it, especially at school, that's kind of what you get. But in this situation, it's just it makes me angry when I see sports fans just getting, just acting kind of like that. Because they are an example for kids and for teenagers. And they, I don't know how old were the guys? Were they kind of in their 30s?
Adults.
I think they're adults.
There's no excuses.
Put them in a boxing ring, let them see how it works out for them.
Is that what you think what it might come down to though? Is that what you think it comes down to? Not will someone organise boxing? Do you think it comes down to just a bit of testosterone and the adrenaline? And I mean, because it was a close result, wasn't it? 26-24, I believe. So, like I said, I'm not a huge rugby fan, but I guess that's close. I'm
assuming that's close. The numbers are close.
Yeah.
I guess there's going to be a lot of tension there, but I mean, obviously it's no excuse.
It's no excuse at all. You can't make an excuse for it, can you?
And do you know what else is interesting? Because there's a lot of talk at the moment about, the quality of sport that is performed by men compared to the quality of sport that's, played by women, the tennis specifically. You never really hear stuff like this happening when you go to watch women do anything. Do you know what I mean? You don't really hear stuff like that. Why do you think that is? Doesn't seem to be as much of an issue.
I don't want to answer that. Is there a right answer to this or a wrong answer? I'll tell you though, have you ever watched a female rugby game? That's intense. That is.
Do you mean with the players?
With the players,
but they're allowed to bring that level of intensity to the sport, aren't they? But you're not going to, it's going to be like gangs of women, beating the stuff out of each other at the sidelines.
No, you're right. Boys, you've let us down. You've let the whole team down.
Is it a testosterone thing?
Well, it's always been the case. Like, I went to an all-boys school, and we were forced to do rugby. And
Really?
My memories are just like standing in mud, cold, in little
Oh, you lie down, I can shuffle over.
in little shorts. But they're never a good look for me anyway.
Never good at football anyway.
And yeah, I remember being taken down by some guy, and he didn't even tackle me. He literally just put his hand out, and I just floored. I remember waking up and then just being dragged off the field. And I was like,
That's petrifying, though.
And I said, "Is he allowed to do that? Aren't you meant to tackle?" He was like, "Oh no." But it carried on, and I was off injured. That's the only real, and I don't think I played much rugby after that.
That was the end of your rugby career, and your fandom.
My promising rugby career.
Do you think that what kind of regulation can they bring in any of the sports anyway? I mean, how do you deal with the fans? Because it's sad, they kind of represent a club, but ultimately, you know, they don't. They're not. It's not the players who have done it. It's not the organisers. It's not the club owners who have done something like behave badly. How do you regulate it?
I think the owners and the management team saying that they're going to give out life bans to these players. Like, I think that is a big enough, you know, kind of punishment.
Yeah.
As well as the legal things and everything with the police and stuff. But the fact is, if you're told that you can't go to your favourite sport game, I think that, you know, could get the message across that if you act like this, if you act like, you know,
a hooligan.
That's the word I was looking for. This podcastable. This is how you're going to be treated.
Yeah, great. All right, thanks very much for that, guys. Let's move to our next story. Widespread library closures across the UK have resulted in the loss of almost 8,000 jobs. That's according to a report by the BBC. Using data assembled by Freedom of Information requests, the investigation reveals that the amount of volunteers in libraries has almost doubled since 2010, whilst the number of paid staff fell by 25%. A total of 343 libraries have closed in the same time period, with a future 111 closures planned this year, the report found. This number of closures in England is actually higher than the government expected. They thought they were just going to close down 110. I mean, there's quite a big difference there. You know, do you think this is what kind of effect are we going to see in communities? Or does this bother you at all? Or I mean, I think it's quite sad.
I think it's sad because I've always had such fond memories growing up and going to libraries, and I think libraries are brilliant. I still use
when
the
everyone
library.
else is playing rugby.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for that, reminding me. No, I just think they're a great place. And you know, when I was in university and whatever, you go to a library, and that's where I did most of my studying. And you know, I still use the library now. I rent books and things, and I think it's a great.
Do you actually go and take books out?
No, yeah.
Right.
Wow. It's not that, is it?
Wow.
Because I'll tell you why.
You got your library card on you?
No, actually, I don't. I've lost it. I'll tell you why, is because I read a lot of graphic novels, a lot of comics that are big and quite expensive.
I thought you meant those ladies, you know,
pornography
or something there. Yeah,
no,
Is that in the library?
Yeah,
What library are you going to?
Yeah, I get that on the internet like a normal person, or the woods.
Sorry.
And they're quite expensive to buy, and they don't have a great collection in library. Like they've got, you know, they have a limited comic section, but there is stuff that you can just rent and then take back, and because otherwise I've got to spend 10, 15, 20 quid on a book that won't take me that long to read.
Yeah. I think the only reason we're both surprised, I think, is you just don't hear people go. I used to love the library, honestly. I used to go, you know, I was quite nerdy. I'd go 3 or 4 times a week and I just read fast.
Yeah.
Like short circuit type stuff. You know. You just don't hear about people going to the library anymore, do you, Stu?
Oh, not really. Like
I'm Mike just now.
Randomly, I was in a library 2 weeks ago, and I did look down, and there was a guy on Tinder just kind of swiping away, and I thought, this is what the world has turned into. But
Had he just gone in because it's somewhere warm to like swipe?
But it's kind of scary to think that these places might disappear. Like,
I think,
and books in general, like with you know, like iPads and iPhones and Kindles and everything. It's just
which is kind of its own issue, really, isn't it? As well,
but it's a place to study and relax, you know. And
and it's not just going in and renting a book. The Central Manchester Library is brilliant. It's a brilliant building, and it does loads of other stuff there. And my partner takes her baby there, and there's loads of great little her baby. Well, you know, no DNA test, but I assume.
Hold on, they go to Spain without you. Drop them to the library.
Look, all right. Look, I assume it's mine. So. But they go to the library, and it's a great place to hang out. And they meet other. She meets other mums and chat and have a coffee and stuff. And it's not just. There's so much more that they can do in libraries.
They're very important to a community.
Yes,
and
that's what I'm saying.
And you're talking, older people, generally people who might have lots of people around them, are like first mums, and like you said, they do find themselves in a different social situation, don't they?
Yes.
Maybe not everyone has a baby, or not everyone is on the same hours as them anymore. So it's nice to go to those kind of groups. Yeah. And libraries do run. I mean, they run evening courses. They run a lot of stuff.
The elderly teaching, technology and computer skills and stuff to the elderly, and
Well, the problem, obviously, this all goes back to obviously the cuts to the local authorities, and this is why the libraries have been hammered really in this way. There was a bad reaction when they first started closing libraries, and it seems as though they've kind of slowed that down, or just kind of implemented a new way of doing that by sort of not employing anyone for a start, getting volunteers in, and then kind of closing them anyway, where it seems like there's no choice left.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an overall agenda gone on then?
Possibly. There's always an agenda going on, isn't there? Do you think they need to kind of like the phone box now? Like you look at the phone box and it's all white stuff, rusting and dusting, but a lot of them have been turned into Wi-Fi spots. So do you think we need to add something to the library to maybe, zhuzh it up a bit, like a Starbucks or possibly some pinball, a slip and slide, I don't know.
Starbucks,
no, I'm joking. But
there's
there more things you could add there to kind of, entice people?
Yeah, it's
free internet connection, stuff like that.
Have they kind of done that though? Is there Wi-Fi? I mean, Mike, you go to the library. Is there Wi-Fi?
I'm not always there. There's Wi-Fi. I don't live there. But, although,
you're VIP. Do they go, hey, Maggie's here?
Well, yeah. I mean, since my family left me, I've been hanging around the library a lot.
They'll come back from Spain.
Will they?
Probably not.
She said she was going for milk. But no, I just love that. There's a whole romance about libraries, and there's a whole just great vibe about them, I think.
And I mean, that's what I was going to say though. I mean, there is Wi-Fi there now, is there?
Yes.
There's Wi-Fi. Most of my kids.
Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah, well, there's tech. I didn't know there were phone boxes, to be honest. That's the first time I heard that. So I'm impressed. We still need them. Do we still need them?
Yeah. Well, yes. But I guess I'm not an expert on what we actually need to get out of them. I think they're a great thing, and it would be a great shame to lose them.
To see them losing.
But can you imagine your children growing up in a world without libraries?
Exactly. No, I wouldn't like that, because it is. You can say, well, you've got everything that a library offers. You've got that just on your computer.
It's called Google.
We've got 24-hour access to information now, really, don't we? So that's.
But it's
hard to maintain
not
the
that.
balance.
It's going to a place, and it's going out and going to this place and then studying there rather than sitting in your room.
In your room. I tell you, I think it's probably one of the only places where it's really, really quiet as well, and you can't talk. So it's nice to go for that reason alone. Thanks very much for that, guys. We're going to go for another break. When we come back, we've got lots more news to talk to, and we're getting very close to our special interview, so don't miss that.